Good morning, I'm Mackenzie Roth. You know what? It is a beautiful day to make you some money.
My name is Jason Hammer, and we're gonna make so much money today, we're almost gonna be able to afford a tank of gas.
And I am Scott Long. Every Saturday and Sunday, I sit next to the best wingman in the business versus Urban Meyer. And it starts right now.
Let's go!
Yeah!
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook and LUNAZUL Tequila. Feed the wolf.
Hello, welcome to All Indiana Bets, another show we're as amazed as you are. They keep letting us do the show. It's so much fun. Jason Hammer, Scott Long joining us. Okay, so here's the deal. No Indiana, no Purdue this weekend. So what does this weekend entail?
I'm out of here. I don't really see what we're even
Right?
No, there's a reason, Jason, right? Tell us why this is the best week ever.
This is the best weekend for guys like Scott and I, degenerate bettors, guys that just want to make some money.
Right.
Because without Indiana, without Purdue, we can just sit back and focus on the other games. We don't have to feel like we're rooting for somebody. You don't want the hometown team to do well. You are just in it for the dollar bills today, and we got a full slate lined up.
You know
like
what's
that.
so interesting, Mackenzie, is that there are these other, I've heard there is other pregame shows. But
Maybe,
What?
maybe.
But first off, they don't usually cover Indiana and Purdue to begin with. This
Sure.
week, you know they're not there. So here we are today in front of you. We're talking about what you would not make you feel badly about your team, because it's all about the lines and the over-unders.
That's right. And you know, we do have something to get excited about, Notre Dame.
Okay, so this is like one of the few local teams in action today.
Right.
Ball State's in action,
Yeah.
Notre Dame's in action. They've got a big game up at Blacksburg. Inner Sandman's gonna play, the Hokies are gonna come out, here come the Irish. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. This game has been around 1.5 points all week. Right now, I'm seeing this as a pick 'em. The line has kind of came in on Virginia Tech a little bit, Scott. What do we do with this?
I don't really like the game either way, except for the total. And I heard that you are all over the total. Is that correct?
I like the under in this game.
Yeah.
And again, nobody likes to bet the unders, right?
Right.
You don't want to root for turnovers. You don't want to root for punts. But I'm a guy that roots for money. And I see two defenses that are pretty good, two offenses that are not great, two teams that want to establish the run. And when you want to establish the run, that clock churns and it churns. 47 is the number. It's been pretty consistent all week. And when you break down things here, Notre Dame has failed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 7 games. So I'm staying away from the pick'em part of the game here, but I do like the under in this one.
And I like it too, by the way. And it's not an official pick, but I really do like that if that would be my 6th pick of the week. And I think it's a case of Brian Kelly knows, hey, I'm a really good coach. I do not have a good offense. I'm going to minimize mistakes. I'm going to try to slow the game down. And then the coach of Virginia Tech is a defensive coach, so I really love the under.
All right, you take the under. I like that. What would you guys say the biggest game everyone's looking forward to today?
I'll defer to my friend from Iowa here on what may be the biggest ball game of the day.
Yeah.
This is the biggest game since 1985.
What?
This happened in Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. And I know this for a fact because I was a freshman at Iowa. Michigan was number 2. Iowa was number 1. I had to look these things up. I have no memories of that game. There was a lot of tailgating that went on before it.
Who was the quarterback for the Hawks at that point? Do you remember? Was that the Chuck Long era
It was-
with the curly greatest
Yeah.
American hero mullet in the back?
You see, and I used to have a perm.
I was going to say, did you have
Yes.
a mullet and a perm? Or
No,
were these
just
different?
really a perm, but it was
Just
on the
a
edge of
perm.
mullet. And
On the edge of a mullet.
and Chuck Long was
That's the name of his autobiography one day. Scott Long, on the edge of a mullet.
What you also call what, a Kentucky waterfall?
It's a Kentucky waterfall,
Sure.
a Mississippi mudflap, and if you're European, it's a moulet.
yes. Well, so I'm at Iowa. I'm a freshman. He's a senior. He lost in the closest voting totals ever to Bo Jackson that year for the Heisman Trophy. You could not. And he was Steve Alford. If he was Steve Alford in the 80s to Iowa. There might have been a time where maybe some co-eds at a bar might have asked if I was related to Chuck Long, and I might have said I was his cousin. I believe there's a statute of limitations on this. It was 1985.
Just past the mark.
It was a different time back then.
So I have big thoughts on this game. It's my best bet.
Oh.
Now, I think Scott is setting us up to go full heel here. He's talking about how great Iowa is, such a great football town. Oh my goodness, it's the biggest game since 1985. You're going to go full Iron Sheik here coming up a little bit later on. And just when we think you're going to go Iowa, you're going to pick Penn State and then hit somebody with a chair the way that the Iron Sheik did when he lured in Hulk Hogan.
Now, your school, not quite as good as mine. You're a graduate of where?
The Ball State University.
The Ball State. I like that.
Now, Scott, though, loves Ball State today.
Let's go.
Look, here's what happened. Early in the year, Ball State came out as MAC champions from last year, had an amazing year, and then they fell flat. And so what happens? They play Army. They hadn't played well really all year, and Jason picked his own Army against his own school. What happened?
Yeah.
It did
well,
not turn
it
out.
backfired on me, but either way, I was happy at the end of the game.
Right.
My Fighting Cardinals won the game, and the parties up and down in the village were probably legendary.
Too many points in this game, 12.5. I am loving Ball State as one of my bets today. And listen to me, I am 18 and
Look,
8.
you love it so much, there's 2 Ball State logos up there right now.
2 Ball State, double Ball State.
You don't even need Western Michigan in the graphic.
They're not going to show up, that's why.
Double
They're
birds.
not going to show up today.
They've seen my record. That's
Yeah, let's
the deal.
talk. Mr. Scott Long, I mean, kudos to you, man. What is your record at this point?
18 and 8. I don't even know the math. You know, I was a communications major, so
Yeah.
I don't know the math. I'm just going to tell you, 18 and 8 is better than anybody you can find online that's being truthful. So haven't had a losing week.
Okay, just a little flex right there. Well, hey, coming up, we're going to do celebrity bets. We're going to hear from Dr. Ian Smith. He has a brand new book out, but he's going to tell us the team he never, ever will bet on. Actually, that he hates. It's up next. Welcome back to All Indiana Bets. We are so glad you're here. Well, Dr. Ian Smith, a good friend of the show, he has a brand new book out. He's going to tell us about that. Also, he sometimes is a betting man, but here's one team he will never, ever bet on. He says the worst team ever. Who are your college teams if you were to bet?
Well, first of all, anyone other than Alabama.
You're not a fan of Alabama?
I'm not a fan of
Why?
Alabama. I just think it's too much hype. It's too much bandwagoning. So I don't like a coach making $8 million and players can't get $50 for sneakers. It's just the whole thing. But Iowa, Michigan.
Michigan. All right, Big Ten. I
Those
love
are my
that.
two.
All right, Dr. Ian Smith. He is so much fun. He was with me yesterday. He drove down from Chicago. He's a cool, he's a doctor. He knows his stuff.
Let me tell you why Doctor's wrong about everything that he just said.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're challenging, Doctor.
So first of all, Alabama, too much hype. They won the national championship. They win the national championship basically every other year. I think that warrants a little bit of hype. And stop with the players don't make enough money. The coach makes $8 million, the players don't play. If you know anything about SEC football, those kids are getting some money. And especially now that you're allowed to get licensing money and things like that. And by the way, you're still getting to go to school for free. I don't know how many of those kids care about that, but it's an NFL factory, so let's just pump the brakes on everything the good doctor said right there.
I'm going to defend the doctor.
Yes.
That tells me that he is a great doctor. He's not busy like reading up on gambling like you do, wasting your time in life. He's learning about new diseases and how to protect his patients.
That's right.
You guys are our patients, though. Did you see what I just did there?
Oh, he saw that.
I did.
Dr. Hammer, Dr. Long here are going to bring the victories, and here is one I'm going to bring right
Get
now.
the rubber glove on, baby, because we're getting ready to do some doctor stuff.
That's a scary visual. Okay, I mean, Oklahoma, which is going to be, one of us has the guts to pick on this Oklahoma-Texas game, so that's coming up in my pick.
Okay, so you're going to pick the Oklahoma
I'm
game.
going to pick, yeah.
All right, so can I just say that I don't like the fact that we're not supposed to call it the Red River Shootout anymore.
Right.
Because the politically correct police have said we have to call this the Red River rivalry. Easy for me to
It's
say.
impossible to say. I think it's
Red River rivalry.
It's offensive to people who cannot pronounce their R's.
Right. Right.
Come on now.
There's no way Elmer Fudd can enjoy this game. Zero.
And he carried a gun at all times.
Right. Right.
We break the games down like no one else.
We certainly do. Okay, so that's coming up. What do you guys want to talk about now, though?
I want to talk about Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Now, this is a really interesting game because Wisconsin is playing Illinois.
Ooh.
And Wisconsin's coach was an assistant coach to the head coach at Illinois who left to go somewhere else. Now he's back at Illinois. Brett Bielema has circled this game ever since he got back. He wanted to get back in the Big Ten because he didn't like how he had to leave Wisconsin the way he did. I would have normally always been on Bielema. I love him as a coach. I think those teams overachieve. But Wisconsin has been a dumpster fire all year. They have totally underachieved, and they just have way more talent. This is the time where if you'd have seen this line at the start of the year, Jason, it'd have been 21 points.
Right.
It's 11 now. Take the 11. Wisconsin probably wins by 17.
Now, are you concerned at all that in the last 6 games against Big Ten opponents, Wisconsin is 0-6 against the spread? 0, big goose egg.
Yeah, if they were playing an actual really good Big Ten opponent. But this is Illinois, the Illini, which I don't even know what that quite is. And let's just say, at least through this year, you're not going to make any money betting on Illinois. Go with Wisconsin. I think they'll turn it around this week.
Even though IU and Purdue are not in the mix this weekend,
Right.
This is a pretty interesting week in the Big
Very,
Ten.
very
certainly
interesting.
is.
Big week. And we've got one big game I know coming up.
Pretenders, contenders week in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
All right, we like this a lot. Hey, you guys, we're getting lots of love on social media.
Oh,
I just
let's
wanna
hope.
read
Okay.
You know, we like to go over terms sometimes, and we're really helping people learn betting. So Nikki comes in hot. She says, this year for Halloween, I might dress up as a parlay so he cares about losing me.
Oh, I love that. That is
She's the winner of the
such a
week.
Keep 'em
smart,
coming.
strong joke right there, because parlays are sucker bets,
Yep.
and I'll have one for you later on.
That's right. But in the meantime, we are going to hit the bar. I mean, usually at this point in the show we do. But coming up next, Mr. Scott Long is bringing
I
us
am.
the long shot.
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
Hey guys, did you see that I'm sponsored now?
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Oh,
There you
thank
go.
you very
There
much.
you go.
Yeah, Jason, this is kind of interesting. You're bringing me drinks now and stuff. There's a power shift that's happened on the show because, like, Jason's in the middle. People love Jason. You should still love him, but I kind of feel like Happy Days started with Ron Howard, and then Fonzie took over. I'm Fonzie.
That's right.
I'm very subservient to Scott because I had a losing week last
Yeah.
week. He's 18-8, and now
Yeah.
I have to be the minion that brings all the drinks.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, sir. For
Okay,
making
now
mine as
tighten
well.
back up
Here,
on
cheers.
me. Let's get this long shot sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook. Thank you, Caesars. You know what's going on. The Huskers. Why would anyone pick Nebraska plus 2.5 versus an undefeated Michigan team who has been stomping through everybody? Because Michigan's not played anybody. And you're like, well, Nebraska, are they anybody? They are now. They have covered every game since the first game. They almost beat Oklahoma. They should have beat Michigan State. This is the biggest home game in a long time. And quite frankly, Scott Frost has to win this game if he wants to keep the job. And from what I'm hearing with my sources is Harbaugh and Frost hate each other. Frosty relationship.
That's the tea.
This is a
It's kind of like this show.
Ooh.
It is.
We should see when we go to commercial break. What goes
So bang on the Huskers on that
Whoa.
one. Sorry, I just almost threw it at our camera person. I apologize.
We've already had too many injuries on this show.
See, this is why we can't get anybody to work with us on the weekends here.
Oh,
There
thank
it
you.
is. There it is.
Hey,
Just,
Scott.
yeah.
All right, I want to go down to the SEC, where the best football in America is played year in and year out. And let's talk about Georgia and Auburn. Is everybody in agreement here that it's really Alabama, Georgia, and everybody else
Not
so
Dr.
far?
Ian Smith.
Take the good doctor out of the equation here. Georgia has really taken control of that #2 team in the nation handle, and I like them in the spot. It's a lot of points. Georgia going on the road against a ranked Auburn, but I have very little faith in this Auburn offense. We saw what they did against Penn State, which was not great, and I think Georgia's defense is better than Penn State's. I would never tell Scott this, but I think Iowa's defense is better than Penn State's. So Georgia seems like they've really kind of found their mojo offensively. I will lay the 15 here, and I'm going to pick up the Georgia Bulldogs in this one to cover in a big matchup in the SEC.
I think your picks are the best maybe you've had so far.
Now you're just feeling
There's
sorry
like a
for
new,
it.
No, I'm really.
camaraderie.
I'm
here.
kind
A
of
new
liking your
peace
picks better than mine.
Oh, maybe a little jealousy though, man.
It
I
could
don't
be.
know.
Well, on the subject of Alabama, Georgia, and everybody else, let's take a look at some future bets here. To win the national championship right now, Alabama still positive money, plus 125. That's a little bit of a surprise to me because a $25 bet on the Tide would win you 56 bucks. And keep in mind with Alabama, and Georgia's the exact same way here, they can still lose a game and they're probably going to be in the national championship picture. So that's really good value for the favorites. But Scott, let's talk about value. Look at Oklahoma, plus 1,400, $25 bet wins
Wow.
$375. Penn State, they take on Iowa today. Look at these teams. Vegas still likes Penn State a little bit more than your Hawkeyes, but there's really good value if you're willing to go down the board a little bit here.
I don't want to give away anything, but I would definitely tell you that Penn State is not good value. They still have to play Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and then still beat someone in the Big Ten. That's why this game is so huge for them today. So it's exciting. We got this music alone.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I
feels
like
like-
breaking it down though, because people get intimidated. Look at that, like 25
I feel like I should be training to fight
Yeah,
a Russian right
right.
now, hearing that music.
Rocky
Like-
IV, Drago. It's like we're in the wintry mix with the logs.
and I
like,
love that you know the reference.
Me
That's
too.
right,
That is so
I'm-
awesome.
This is why they love me on the
We
show.
do
I have
love
People
this
ask me
humor.
all the time, what's Mackenzie like? I'm like, no, she's a dude. She makes movie references. She tells dirty jokes. She's awesome.
I have a sense of humor of a 15-year-old boy, and that's why you dig me.
Best.
And that's why we dig you. Coming up next, the Evan Williams Best Bet. These are the games that are going to make you the most money. Don't go anywhere.
All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook. The Best Bet is brought to you by Evan Williams. Bourbon done right.
That's right. And these are delicious. I like it's not even noon, and we're having a good time. Now we're going to talk Best Bets.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And earlier, your close personal friend, Dr. Ian Smith, was
Yes.
talking about how bad Alabama was. Oh, they're overrated. Oh, the coach makes the money, the kids don't play. I'm going to fade the good doctor here.
What?
And I'm going to pick up the Crimson Tide. They're on the road at Texas A&M. And again, it's Bama, it's Georgia, and it's everybody else. And when you look at Alabama, SEC games in October, the last 4 games, they've covered the spread, and it hasn't even been close. I think this is another case of that. Lay the 18, roll Tide. I got Alabama.
I don't know why we haven't gotten a syndication deal in the South, because you are always picking games in the South.
That's right.
You're like wise. You're crafty.
Oh, I'm sorry,
veteran.
Mr. Iowa, Mr. Big Ten.
Yeah. You see, but there's the problem. What did I tell you early in the year, Mackenzie? #1 betting rule: don't
bet with your heart. Don't bet with your
Yeah.
emotion. Well, I kept taking my Hoosiers, and
Right.
it has not panned out for me very
Right,
well.
and I told you, and I've only
Yeah.
bet on Iowa the first week, and that was against Indiana, and that was
Right.
like our little bet. Take Iowa to the bank!
Oh, you hypocrite.
Take Iowa!
Come on.
Hawkeyes all the way. This is the best setup they have had in a long time. Iowa City, Kinnick Stadium, you do not want to be a visiting team after like 3 o'clock, that place. Iowa has beaten almost every team that has been ranked in the top 10 they played. I think the last 6 of the last 7 games they've done that. So I would just share with you, Penn State has beaten nobody. Auburn's not that good. Wisconsin's not that good. Iowa State actually is good. You're going to see what happened last week in Maryland. This is my best bet of the year. I'm just going to lay it down.
Best
Just
bet
throw it
of the
down.
year.
Best bet of the year.
Evan Williams, Best Bet of the Year, right here.
Boom.
Double up on this one, and don't get a hold of me if you lose. That's on you. You can't pick just one game. I heard that last week, and I'm still a little hurt because I wasn't right on Notre Dame, but I win so much. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Jason, what do you
Wow,
got?
that was a bold
I think
move.
you're a hypocrite. I think
Okay.
everything
Sure.
you've said is full of crap, and unfortunately, I agree with you 100%.
I like that. I like
For those
that.
looking to get that scratch-off lottery win, which we call it, that's what a parlay is,
Yeah.
your chance to bet a little bit of money to win a lot. Here's what we're looking at. If you're balling on a budget today and you want some entertainment value for your college football Saturday, we're going to go under 60, Vanderbilt and Florida. Florida's going to do their part. Vanderbilt will not. And this is Florida coming off of a loss. They will be focused. You've got the Red River Shootout, Oklahoma against Texas, under 64. These are both teams that can score, but I like their defenses a lot. North Texas, I'm going to pick up 19 at Missouri. I saw Missouri against my Vols last week. They stink. So this is
Straight up.
too many points for the Mean Green, and I'm going to lay the 2.5. I'm going to pick Michigan at Nebraska. This, for me, is just Harbaugh's chance to really get in the national picture. If he has a chance to run up the score, he'll do it for the style points. This is your ballin' on a budget parlay for today.
Balling on a budget. All right, Scott, you look perplexed by this.
That last one, I think you and I have to have a bet. Maybe Michigan. I've got Nebraska.
Okay.
You
All
got
right.
Michigan. We'll figure out something. Look, if it's the two of us involved, it will be something that you will. It's like a car crash.
Right.
You'll want to see it. You'll turn. You'll want to see it. That'll be the
Then
bet.
you don't want to see it, but you can't stop watching.
Yes.
That's
That's
yeah,
what
nice
I'm
way to
saying.
describe it. All right, that's coming up. Also coming up, we have Hammer, your degenerate special. All right, but first, we have a new feature from our friends at Indiana Grant.
Awesome.
Cool.
We love spending this time with you. Welcome back to All Indiana Bets. All right, down now for Hammer's Degenerate Special. It's a fan favorite.
It is. I like to
Yes.
think the Degenerate Special is the franchise of this program. And the reason why it's so popular is that we're rolling. We have hit so many of these things, and today I got something really special for you guys. Texas State is at home against South Alabama. Now,
Can I
Texas
stop
State,
you a second before just Texas State from unnecessary roughness? The Texas State is like Kathy Ireland. Is she still the kicker? I mean, is Bacula the coach?
Keanu Reeves?
No, that's a different movie. That's the replacements. But this is Texas State, but they are not the Fighting Armadillos.
Oh, I was going to
Unnecessary
watch.
Those
roughness.
are actually both very solid
Sinbad
TV
is not on the
movies.
roster.
TV films.
These are the Texas State Bobcats
Okay.
Oh, the
against the
Bobcats.
University of South Alabama Jaguars.
No interest again.
out, we tapped
USA against TSU. So let's break this down here.
Okay.
University of South Alabama, USA, they are 3-1.
USA, USA, USA.
They had their first loss of the season last week to a really good Raging Cajun squad. of
USA,
Louisiana.
USA, USA.
Texas State, they are 1-3 on the year. Now, when you break down the numbers here, I got some notes for you.
Okay.
Texas State is winless at home. Guess who's undefeated on the road?
USA, USA, USA.
South Alabama, they have covered in all of their wins this year. In all of their losses, Texas State has not covered. So when you're weighing out the pros and you're weighing out the cons, only 3 points here. I think we all know who the pick is.
USA, USA.
If you don't like South Alabama, you don't like America. I happen to like America, and we're going to lay the 3 points here, and we're going to go South Alabama to beat what should be the Fighting Armadillos of Texas State.
Oh, man, that was exciting.
That was exciting.
The degenerate jingoistic pick of the week.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
love it.
I will
is.
say, whenever there is a chance, I will join in. Just I'm one of those people.
I'm on now.
All right,
Some
we're on
people just
board.
happen to love their country a little bit more than
Yes.
others. I fall into that category.
There's three
That's
of us
right.
now.
There's three of us. Yes, we do. All right. So Scott, you have a pick. You have a pick.
Oh,
you
I
want to get to.
do. And, you know, I was on the fence between two. I've really loved Syracuse lately, and I've been winning on them every time. And then I found out.
Mackenzie's already giving you thumbs down.
Yeah, no. Mackenzie does not root for the orange, not because she won't make a delicious sun-kissed choice, you know. She'll like a nice orange, but
I do.
an Orangeman. That's their nickname by the Orangeman. There's one Orangeman that she had some problems with, and I will just say I don't have any problem at all with Syracuse getting those many points. It's Wake Forest. It's the Demon Deacons. I mean, come on. Syracuse cannot be that big of an underdog. No one is any good in the ACC. All these games are probably going to go down to a field goal. Take the orange. Sorry.
Boo.
In this
How
game.
bad was this guy that you fade Syracuse so bad? Like, we could talk about horrific things on this show,
He's
and you're
not
still
bad.
somewhat bubbling and happy. We bring up Syracuse and the relationship that you had that went bad. You're ready to throw stuff at the television screen.
I'm not going to say anything because someone cries about
Can I say something? Tell me, I'll say it.
That's why she's not saying it.
That's right, that's right. Okay, that is solid, though. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Make people money at the end of the day. Coming up, you know who else likes to make people money? The Cash Man.
The Cash
The
Man.
Cash Man. Alan Cashman is next, the wise guy.
Here we go, Wise Guy Corner. Alan Cashman. How did you do last week, Alan, as I already know?
2-0, Scott. 2-0 for the second straight week.
Okay, I'm a real pro. Taking the gum out of my mouth. Here we are. What is your number one pick for this week?
Number one pick, I'm going to go to Waco, and I'm going to take West Virginia at Baylor. I'm going to take Baylor minus 2.5. West Virginia off of back-to-back losses. They're on the road here. They don't do well on the road. That dates back to last year. But this year, they're running for 4.1 yards per carry at home. That dips all the way down to below 2 on the road. Baylor, they're +5 in turnover margin, and West Virginia -5. The Baylor offense 12th in the nation. Now, Baylor, they didn't cover last week in a road loss. This situation bodes well because they are 16-3-2 against the spread following an ATS loss. So I like Baylor minus 2.5.
Love those trends. What is that second pick this week?
Going to go with Iowa at home, minus 1.5 against Penn State. I love this Iowa defense. They're number 7 in the nation. Penn State, not really dynamic at all on offense. They're getting less than 4 yards per carry for the season. They could only muster 2.4 yards per carry versus Villanova. I think the games are one up front. Iowa +12 in turnover margin. Penn State only one road game. That was at Wisconsin. Then turns out Wisconsin's not really that good. Penn State took that game 16-10, but were outgained in it by Wisconsin. I'm going to go ahead and take Iowa minus 1.5 in this one.
You are 100% accurate on that second pick. It is my best bet. I'm giving it 30,000 units. That's what I'm telling people to bet on. Thank you again, Alan. Hope you're 2-0, continuing on. See you next week.
Thanks, Scott.
Oh, we love
Look
the
at
Cash
the Cash
Man.
Man. That's
All right.
a big,
Our
hairy
second-
American winning machine right there. That's the Cash Man.
Our second trip to the bar. All right, because we have to gear up. But yeah, I know you just got a tweet in, which I love.
So I always promote the show on social media, right? At Jason Allen Hammer, that's my Twitter. You were kind of doing this little dance and shimmy in the back before the show. So we recorded that, and then I kind of jumped in at the very end and gave the people what they want.
Creepy factor.
So you can see that video, again, at Jason Allen Hammer on Twitter. Brandon writes at us. Let's go, Brandon. This tweet is like the Sopranos series. The first 7 through 8 are jaw-dropping, extraordinary, with a perfect flow. The final part, what did I just see?
That was solid, Brandon.
To make sense
Solid,
of that,
B.
you need to see the video itself at Jason Allen Hammer on Twitter.
I love that. It was on my Instagram as well, at Mackenzie Roth.
Yeah, and I always just pump out Mackenzie's Instagram. That's right.
Yeah.
But if you want to find me on
Woo!
Scott Comedy at Instagram and Twitter. And what is happening next? I don't
All the
even pay
things.
attention.
We're going to talk about Memphis. We got to talk about Memphis.
Memphis, great barbecue, great blues, and they are going to cover today against Tulsa. Memphis, I've won on them earlier this year. I kind of feel like I have to go back to the well here. So the underdog has covered the spread in 10 of Tulsa's last 11 games. Guess who the underdog is here? Memphis. I think Memphis is the better team than Tulsa. I'm surprised the line is this high. I'm getting 3 and a hook. Let's play ball. I'm in. Scoop me up for Memphis plus 3.5. I think this is going to be close. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter, but having that hook, that security blanket of that 0.5, I'm in.
All right, you're in. Scott, what do you say about that?
I am a football expert, know nothing about either one of those teams. It's so typical of Hammer, and I can't wait to find out what the results will be.
Ooh, okay. We shall see. Well, when we come back, though, we are going to stop into the Slippery Noodle. We're going to sample some Evan Williams apple and cranberry. Delish up next.
On the Rocks is brought to you by Evan Williams. Bourbon done right.
Hello, friends. Brent Holverson with Heaven Hill Brands, coming to you from the historic Slippery Noodle Inn here in downtown Indianapolis. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about some wonderful Evan Williams flavor cocktails, and we have the beautiful Autumn here to highlight it for the Slippery Noodle. And my big friend, my man, Bernie Lovers, our global whiskey ambassador, coming here. Bernie, thanks for coming to town today.
It's good to be here. Good to be at the Noodle. I'll tell you, one of the coolest places that I've been to around the whole country. Great live music here, such great history. It's good to be back here, Autumn.
Good to see you.
Yeah. What you going to make for us today?
So today I think we're going to go ahead and do the apple, the Evan apple that we have here. A lot of people like this in the summertime and always, but it's even a Christmas time favorite with the cranberry. So it's also healthy, right?
Kind of an old take on the Washington apple, right?
Yes, but nowadays they'd rather have it as a cocktail. So
Nice. And Evan Williams, of course, #2 selling bourbon in the world, so it's what probably you have at home right now that you brought in from the store. And this is the green apple flavor of the Evan Williams.
very delicious. Also mixes well with other things, but cranberry just seems to be the hot commodity right now. So
Yeah.
we'll go with that one, and then I've got a lime here to garnish it.
Yeah, and it's like it is an old take on the
There's just
Washington apple, but just
There it is.
there it is. Cheers. And there it is.
Nice and easy drinking, right? Nice and easy
Very
drinking.
pretty.
And then also to go along with that, you guys do a lot of what we call the adult cherry Coke, right?
Oh yeah.
So talk to us about the adult cherry Coke.
So that would be the Evan Williams brand cherry mixed with just regular Coke or Pepsi, whatever you prefer. Most people go with the Coke, so that one we can do as well. Same thing, you just do a little, here we just do it to about here. Adjust that to your liking. And then we'll add some Coke.
Hey, Coke's a great, it can be a great thing to mix because, there's caramel in the barrel. You get a lot of people put Coke down of going in with whiskeys and that, but you shouldn't. You enjoy it the way you like it.
Goes real nice with the flavors.
Absolutely. And there is the cherry Coke. Cheers, everybody.
Nice, easy drinking summer cocktails right there, and what better way than having Autumn and Bernie showcase these. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time on The Rocks. Cheers.
All right, hey, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Woo, yes.
I made that drink. This is fantastic.
It is absolutely delicious and also delicious. My pick. You guys ready for the big pick?
Let's do it. Let's do
I'm
it.
doing my pick. I'm going to take Oklahoma -3.5 over Texas. Now, I'm super pumped about this. The old Red River rivalry.
Shootout. Shootout.
Just say the shootout. All right,
is
I'm
so
going to
hard
lay
to
the points
say.
with the Sooners. I just feel like they're the more well-rounded team, more skilled players. They have demonstrated their security over the Longhorns in the past. Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma covers.
I like it.
All right.
I like that pick a great deal.
Thank you.
So let's review what I've got on the big board already. Because again, we're getting rich today, kids. Let's go to the big board here. I feel like it's election night here, and I'm on one of the networks here. We got Notre Dame under 47. Too many points for two teams that want to run the ball, that want to set the tempo. Good defenses, suspect offenses. I'll lay the under on this one. Georgia, I'm going to give up 2 touchdowns and a point, -15. Georgia is the second best team in America, and it's not even close. They go on the road. They beat a decent Auburn team with a bad offense. 15 is not enough points. Let's go, Georgia. Let's move on. Bama, Roll Tide. As much as it hates this Tennessee Volunteer to say those words, Bama covers in October. Look at the numbers of what they've done in SEC games in October. This is going to be no different. Texas A&M can't score. Bama can score in bunches. We're going to lay the 18 here. And let's go to South Alabama. Just when you thought I was done picking Alabama games, your degenerate special, USA. USA! University of South Alabama, they cover the spread against the North Texas Armadillos. That's not who they are, but in necessary roughness, that's who they were. Memphis, +3.5. I got to pick up some points here. I think the wrong team is getting points in this game. Sprinkle a little on the money line if you feel confident. I like Memphis getting 3 and the hook.
Is that game played in Beale Street?
That game is not in Beale Street.
Oh, gosh, I just love Memphis.
That game's in Tulsa where they never cover.
That's true. Okay. So here's where everyone stays on for the show, for my best bet.
Okay. Is that how it's going to be? Okay.
It's going to be so bad when I start doing badly and you do well. But it's been a great
you're rolling,
first
though,
play.
man. You're
I
rolling.
am rolling 18-8. Nebraska +2.5. Hammer has his reasons. He looks at Michigan. He's like, a square. He knows that Michigan's got a better record. The sharps, like myself.
The sharps. Okay.
Yeah, that's a term. Look it up.
Well aware.
Totally on the Huskers. Ball State, just up the street on I-69.
The house that Hammer built.
Yeah. I am loving all of a sudden the change. It happened basically against Toledo. They were really tight. I did take Toledo in that game and won it barely. Saw some positives. Last week, they stomped all over Army.
Stomped all over Army, and the party at the Chug was off the hook.
Right. It's only going to get better. They are going to come back from Kalamazoo. I believe that's where Western Michigan
Directional Michigan, always take Ball State.
Yeah. Take the 12.5 points. I love that. Okay, Wisconsin -11. They have been terrible. Dumpster fire, as I said. The Badgers have been probably as disappointing as a team as any, maybe Texas A&M. They've been the 2 most disappointing teams of this year. I like them today. I think the season starts changing. I think they figure things out because Illinois is Illinois.
And they stink.
They do stink, so thank you. Wow, Syracuse. Oh, can we get a shot?
The Fighting Mackenzies of Syracuse.
I just, like Mackenzie, I fade Syracuse.
Yes!
I have no good reasons besides, no, I love Syracuse in this game against Wake Forest.
Boom.
Take the Orangemen.
You're like Mackenzie. You have a thing for Syracuse
I
guys.
do, and then I don't.
I do, and I don't.
This is it. I don't need to say any more. It's Hawkeyes marching. It's going to be a low-scoring game, but 10-point victories in a low-scoring game, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 23-13 or something like that. Hawkeyes march on to play in the Big Ten Championship.
I feel like a weatherman up here. Today there's a 50% chance of Ball State covering 12.5. Make sure you take precautions for that.
Don't wear green. I like that. All right. Nicely done, fellas. Well, guess what? We have a brand new sponsor joining us today, Indiana Grand. Check it out.
Run for the money. Brought to you by Indiana Grand Racing and Casino. All Indiana Bets is presented by LUNAZUL Tequila. Feed the wolf.
Hey, welcome back to All Indiana Bets. I like that your mom's actually watching the show.
Yes.
Now we're up to 3 viewers. This is great.
3 people. Mama Hammer went out and picked up a bottle of Evan Williams because we talked about it so much. I'm
Delicious.
telling you, you're going to love it. It's fantastic.
You made it just right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you guys often give me a bunch of stuff because I make the drinks too strong. Maybe that's the Beach Grover in me. Maybe that's the Ball Stater in me.
Right.
But you guys are like the 2 old Muppets that sit in the balcony when it comes to drinks. I can never do anything right, and all you 2 do is heckle.
That's because we're rolling to our kids' softball games and soccer games.
Yeah,
We're like,
you did it right today. You're doing it right with the picks. Tomorrow, we're going to come back at noon.
Yes.
We have a big week because what happens on Wish TV on Monday night?
ooh, it's a huge, our crew is headed there actually right now. We got Phil Sanchez, Alexis Rogers, Charlie Clifford, and our own Anthony Calhoun, AC himself, bringing us all the behind the scenes.
How much makeup did Phil Sanchez pack for this trip?
You know, he needs his brow pomade, his hair
Dude's
stuff.
brows are on point. Like he's on the Mount Rushmore of eyebrows.
Yeah,
like,
it looks
it's
great.
on point.
But they're going to be taking us all behind the scenes.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
because
great.
Monday Night Football
Yeah.
will be on Wish TV on Monday, which is
it's a
not
huge deal.
ironic, I guess, that would be a Monday night game on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll, of course, make our pick
Shocking.
for that big game tomorrow.
And we're going to break down all the other NFL games coming up tomorrow as well. The Colts, they play Monday right here on Wish TV, so sit back, relax. We'll break down all of the NFL games for you tomorrow. But until then, sit back, relax, crack open a beverage, enjoy College Football Saturday. Kickoff of the games coming up next. Good luck, everybody.
Hey, cheers to you. Thanks for being with us.
Hawkeyes.
Cheers. Scott, bring it in, bring it in. All right.